Hi guys, so today we are reviewing a Mercedes E-Class. It's time to get inside. Sri. Okay, bring me to Jalan Sultan Ismail, please.
Okay, boss.
Safety belt, ah?
Yes.
Okay, so right here I'm now in the back seat of the Mercedes-AMG E53. So this is not your run-of-the-mill E-Class, right? It's so the main selling variants of the E-Class in Malaysia are of course the 4-cylinder E200s, E300s. There's also the newly launched E350 that gives a class-leading output of 299 horsepower from its 2-liter mild hybrid engine. This guy here, this is sort of like a stepping stone to the V8 E63. This E53 here replaces the previous E43, and it is powered by a 3-liter inline 6 engine making 435 horsepower. The previous E43, that one had a 3-liter V6 that made about 400 horsepower. So what does it offer you here? Let me start with pricing. This thing is not cheap. If you were to think of this as something of AMG, oh my god. Sri, can you close the sunroof? It's hot. So if you were to think of this as a lighter version of the E63, then you would think, hey, okay, it's 740,000 ringgit or 760,000 ringgit if you take the coupe. 740,000 ringgit, which is 300,000 ringgit cheaper than the E63. That's, hey, it's not bad. But it is also more than 300,000 ringgit on top of the E350. Simply put, the gap between this and the E53 is so big, you can stuff an E200 in there and still have pocket change for lunch. So the question is, does this E53 justify such a big leap from the E350? Well, not from the back seat, because where I'm sitting here, this feels no different from any regular E-Class. So I do get this Burmester audio system here. I got these trim pieces here, get manual sunshade, all right, as I showed earlier. You get the sunroof, which I think you still have in the E350. The armrest here also nothing to shout about. Okay, you got 2 pop-out cup holders. You got this raisable flap base, and you got rear aircon vents with single zone climate control at the back here. Basically, there is nothing behind here that you don't get in the regular E-Classes. So let me just adjourn to the driver's seat in front and give you a bit more impressions from there. Alright, so as you can see here, the bodywork of this car follows that of the regular E-Class. Whereas with the E63, you've got flat, fender panels and all that. This body here is shared with the regular E-Class models. So technically, if you want to do an E53 conversion on your E200, you can. So we come to the back. So the biggest visual differentiation between this and the regular E-Class, of course, is the AMG badge here. Okay, and they market this as a proper AMG by giving it a 2-digit badge. So it's called the E53 as opposed to E530 or whatever. So you get, as a differentiating touch, spoiler here, ducktail spoiler, and quad exhausts at the bottom. All right, with a diffuser element. So you don't get this bumper design in the regular E-Class, even if you're talking about, say, the E350 AMG line. The bumper design is a lot more subtle over there. Then as you come to the front, come along to the side, 20-inch alloy wheels here. All right, 20-inch AMG alloy wheels with what, 275/30 rear tires. And we come to the front here, it's a slightly narrower 245/35s. So once again, the front end, all the body panels, these are taken from the regular E-Class. Of course, you get this turbo 4matic badge here, which of course the regular E-Classes don't get. And if you come over to the front, yeah, AMG, this is the AMG line bumper here with this diamond patterns on the front grille. This the Mercedes badge here on the boot is laminated, so this car has full auto braking capabilities. All right, so auto braking, adaptive cruise control, all that, it's available here. But otherwise, the bodywork of this car really is from the regular E-Class. All right, whereas with the E63, you've got flared, fenders. You've got a entirely unique front nose. This one does not. This one, it's basically a very subtly redressed version of the redressed body of the 4-cylinder E-Classes. So I'm just going to hop into the driver's seat. So sitting inside, well, this really feels no different from a regular E-Class. Let me just start the engine. Okay, you do get the AMG badge on the screen upon startup, but everything else here just reminds you of the standard E-Class. But of course, on this panel here, you get to see a bit more switches. So besides the volume control and the dynamic spot button adjustments, this button here is for you to trigger whether it is whether you want to leave the transmission in drive or you want to set to full manual driving. Okay, here this is the suspension control. There are 3 settings. This is comfort. All right, when you have one light on, it's sport, and when you have 2 lights on, it's sport plus. Here, this is the exhaust. You can set it, you can activate the sport exhaust or deactivate it. So yeah, I mean, otherwise, once you zoom out from here, you notice that yeah, there's nothing much here really that you don't get in the regular E-Class. Oh, but check this out. So here I'm at the command screen, and okay, there's a track mode here. All right, warning for use on racetracks only. I get this. So you can actually you can track race, timing, new track. So basically you have all these functions to track all the various telemetry of your car as you drive. This is a nice novelty here. I'm sure it's something that most owners will be happy to explore, but probably ultimately won't use much of on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so yeah, let's start driving. So at this point, it is worth repeating that this car is the price of an E200 and E350 combined, and still some change. So is it significantly better than a regular 4-cylinder E-Class? Yes. The additional swept volume of the 3-liter inline 6, these extra cubic centimeters manifest themselves with the superior smoothness and refinement of the engine. Particularly of note was just now when I was cruising along at part throttle, that creamy smoothness of the engine is something that no 4-cylinder engine, however well tuned, is able to reproduce. It just gives the E-Class that added feel of majesty, of stateliness that really differentiates this one from the run-of-the-mill E-Class. But is it twice the driving pleasure of a regular E-Class? is it befitting of an AMG badge with 2 digits? Now that is something worth debating more closely. See, the thing is, right now when I have a bit of clear stretch of road, I gun it. Bah. You've got the audio drama, you've got the acceleration, but it is not a hard-hitting punch that you typically expect from that you would expect from a 2-digit badge AMG car. All right. In fact, I recall vividly that the C43 with a 3-liter V6 felt way more dramatic to drive. That car felt, like it felt like it distilled the essence of what makes an AMG car into a more usable, a more pleasant day-to-day package. What we have here with the E53 is, make no mistake, this is a car that has its capabilities, it has its strengths, but is it a proper AMG? Is it, twice a regular E-Class? I'm not so sure about that. I like the smoothness of a 6-cylinder engine, and this car is properly fast, but it doesn't differentiate itself from the regular 4-cylinder models as much as you thought it would be. So in fact, as I sat in this car, I was expecting something closer to what the C43 offered, but maybe in a bit more of a mature package. But this one, what we have here is, this is a car, right? The E53 here, this would have been a car that I would have been a lot happier with if they had called this something like, say, I don't know, a Mercedes-Benz E400 AMG line. All right, that would have been a lot. That would have adjusted my expectations of this car more commensurate to what it's delivering. Because you see, right now, what I'm having here is, on one hand, yes, I do have a liking for this car, but on the other hand, I don't think it really justifies the AMG E50, the badge of, a 2-digit AMG badge. It just doesn't. It doesn't deliver enough of the drama that you expect from an AMG. And did I mention that as I'm driving this right now, I have put the suspension in sport mode. I've put the exhaust in sport mode. So, but what you still get here, you still get a very pleasant, a nice day-to-day car that gives you a hint of sportiness. But is it, at the end of the day, it still feels very distilled, very undramatic. So this is, make no mistake about it, this E53 here, this is a very, very good E-Class, but it should not, my take about it, it should not be called an AMG E53. But still, all said and done, I still admire Mercedes for even offering this model here at all. Because you see, right now, if you look at the whole Mercedes-Benz E-Class portfolio in Malaysia, you start off with the modest E200, then you slowly rise up to the E300, E350. But as I've always made this point before, when it comes to luxury cars, yes, your 4-cylinder engines are the main sellers, but you still always should have that option of a bigger 6-cylinder engine in there somewhere, just for the customer to choose from, just so that the customer feel that he has that option, right? So yeah, 760,000 ringgit really, 740,000 ringgit really is, it's not cheap. But then again, if you were to go to the BMW showroom, firstly, they don't have anything at this level of output. The closest that they have is the BMW 540i, which you can make on a special order basis. That also is about 600,000 ringgit. All right, and that one gives you only what, 340 horsepower. This one gives you 435. In fact, actually the closest thing that BMW has to match this would be the M550i with about 460 horsepower, but that comes with a 4.4 liter V8, and you know, once again, special order basis, and the road tax will be utterly insane. What, 8,000 ringgit a year? This one is a 3 liter inline 6, so you're looking at about 2,100 ringgit per year, which is still okay, right? Which is still a fair amount. And from this, you jump up to the E63, which is a big jump past the million ringgit mark. So if you ask me what I would wish for in this car is that, you see, right now I'm driving, as I said earlier, I'm driving this in its sportier settings. So what I would wish for really is what I am experiencing now. This should be the comfort setup, and they dial it up a bit, a slightly harder edge setting in their sport mode, and that would solve everything. That would then make this car properly justify its AMG 2-digit tag.